this game is the next coming of Jesus, or we are being swindled for all of our goddamn money. And at the center of all this is Steven Sharif. And I'm not even gonna lie to anybody, and especially as a World of Warcraft player, someone that's been playing for well over 2 decades of the Warcraft IP as a whole, I have a lot of faith and hope in Ashes of Creation to redefine the MMO genre and space. I've been following Ashes of Creation for just about 7 years, a little over that, since the Kickstarter. And then throughout those 7 years, I have fluctuated between calling the game a goddamn scam and holy shit, Steven is insane. He clearly knows what he's doing. And I keep fluctuating back and forth. In fact, I've put and removed that $350 package of content that you used to be able to buy in and out of my cart more times than I can remember. I'm not going to lie, it's hard not to see the game as a scam. Especially when you consider Steven's past and some of the things that has come out or about the game and the company. For example, Steven being an MLM in the past, 8 years to essentially reach a proper alpha that doesn't have NDAs and like information blocking and things of that nature, as well as charging over $100 to play in the current alpha if you didn't buy the $350 package. Now, I do want to clarify 2 things before I deep dive into this essay on whether or not Ashes is a scam. 1. Ashes is either going to be a genre-defying MMO experience that revolutionizes the entire MMO scene, essentially akin to what WoW did in 2004, or it's going to be a complete dumpster fire akin to WildStar. There is essentially not going to be any real in-between. Now, we're going to dive right into the specifics, and we're going to actually start with the good, because there's actually a lot of good to talk about. Ashes looks fun, feels fun, and plays fun. It's not perfect. No game in alpha typically really is. If anybody played WoW's alpha or any game's alpha, you can attest to how bad games in alpha can be. But the combat is fluid, the gameplay systems are fun, skills and ability trees are very in-depth, and there's clearly much more room to grow there. On top of all that, the world looks and feels good. The grind itself is enjoyable, and in an MMO, grind is king. You need to make the grind worth grinding, worth deep diving into. And it's got that old school grinding vibe, where you feel rewarded for grinding, where you feel your absolute waste of life you're doing committing to playing an MMO is worth the time. Now, the level cap is only 25, and they only have a very few select zones available. The world is going to be ginormous when it fully does come out. So everything I'm talking about is just what we've seen and what we've heard. I don't want to go into details of what ifs, but I discussed the good in very high level, surface level information. Now I'm going to discuss the bad. Who knows how many millions upon millions of dollars and 8 years to essentially get to where we are in the alpha today. And I'm not going to lie, it's kind of absurd that we're still only in alpha 2. By the time it comes out, if we're being generous, it'll have been in development for 10 years. That is wild to think about. And that's being generous. It could take 12 or 13 years for this game to fully come out. Then you have the amount of monetization in a game that is not even out. Between years of $350 packages that contain skins and things of that nature inciting FOMO. Over $100 to get into alpha, which I want to give them credit. They did change it. You now get some in-game currency as well as game time, so it's not a full waste of time. You're essentially paying like $50 to get into alpha, give or take right now. But let's be honest, we're paying essentially $50 to get into alpha. As well as the year-long, multi-year-long NDAs that only recently got lifted so we could actually learn more about the game. And the problem is a lot of people that play Ashes of Creation are divided. Some people feel like they've waited so long to essentially be scammed, and some people think this is the beginning of something amazing, something phenomenal. Which is where we dive into the scam. Is Steven Sharif a scam artist? It depends. Is Ashes of Creation a bad game? No, not at all. Is it a good game? No, not really. But it has the potential to possibly be the most amazing game to hit the MMO genre in a long time, perhaps not counting the upcoming Riot MMO. But it's because it has the potential to be amazing that the scam is so apparent. I personally don't believe that the game is a scam, but I have to explain everything to tell you my proper opinion. So for the next little bit, I'm gonna be referencing to the game as if it is a scam. Ashes of Creation has promised so many features that it's kind of insane that if it even releases with half of the features it's promised, it's probably going to be one of the best games to ever touch gaming. GTA 6 levels of content. It's going to be obscene. And every time they add a feature, they put the time and energy into developing it. But it's reaching the level of absurdity similar to Star Citizen. Star Citizen has gathered almost $700 million, and they keep adding more and more and more and more. And they keep justifying the budget and the balancing and the time it takes because of how much content they're adding. Which means Ashes of Creation can technically do the same thing. Continuously keep extending alphas and betas for as long as they need, because they keep adding more and more feature scope, more content, more things. And if they do this, they're technically in the right. Like contractually, obligation-wise, they're adhering to what they've promised, development of a game. The game doesn't ever have to actually release. And MMOs cost an obscene amount of revenue to generate. Like, it takes so much to make an MMO. The average MMO budget is in the $100 to $200 million range, and every new feature extends the timeline to release. It adds more to the budget, and then the development pipeline gets longer and longer and longer. There have been memes about Ashes essentially coming out in 2050 at this point because of how long these alphas have taken to even come to us. And then you consider the monetization. No box price, monthly subscription game, which is actually good. That's actually a good thing. You pay once a month, you just play it. But it also has a very in-depth cash shop. So many skins, things you can buy that make a character look better, feel better, housing, racial appearances, things of that nature. It looks amazing. The amount of things you can buy is wild, or could. There is no pay to win whatsoever, which is good, but in an MMO that has a monthly sub price, being no pay to win is kind of standard. But they were selling cosmetic packs essentially since 2017 for a game you could not even play. They only stopped this in January 2024. And these packages, like I said, were full of chock-full content that FOMO would elicit. Oh, if I don't buy this package, it's going to be gone forever. I can never get it again. I'm going to have to buy the next package. Or the next one. What if the next one isn't as good as this one? And they just made that FOMO hit you, and it wasn't really a good feeling. But that doesn't necessarily make the game a scam, even if it looks like it, smells like it, and feels like it. Now, I covered the scam, and I gotta go back to the genius, because it's only fair that if I reference the genius behind Steven Sharif and his plans as well, because this would not be a fair essay without being impartial. Ashes of Creation is created by a man absolutely dedicated to the craft of the game. He's insanely involved in the community, with the game itself. He's always playing, developing, talking to people, going out of his way to be involved in the game. He lives and breathes Ashes of Creation. He's essentially that meme of a multimillionaire saying, "Fuck it, I'll do it myself," in regards to the MMOs. No other MMO satisfied him enough, so he went and made his own one. On top of all that, all the features he's trying to add to the game actually are good features. He's not adding pointless scope or creep. Every feature he adds is actually very beneficial to the future of Ashes of Creation as a game. And I've said this before, and so many times over these past 7-8ish years of waiting for the game to come out. If Ashes of Creation releases with even half the features it promises, it'll be the best MMO on the market by a large margin, no contest. And if it releases with everything, every single promise Steven has made, it'll be a culturally defining moment, just like World of Warcraft in 2004. It'll actually probably have the exact same impact that WoW had to the entire world's gaming scene and the MMO scene itself, completely pushing it forward in a whole new way. And Steven has a vision, but there is a big problem with the visions. Until you actually realize it, you look like a fucking madman. And that's why Ashes looks and feels like a scam, even though it's not. All of the controversies in Ashes past, from the MLM schemes and all that stuff, has been disproven. Steven is not a scam artist. He's a genius who believes he can make the next culturally defining, most amazing game in the MMO space. And that wording is why some people believe it's a scam. Because it's an unpolished, unfinished game with such a huge backlog of content coming to it that you can't really believe it's actually going to come out. On top of that, being made by a first-time studio that has no previous track record adds more doubt to that shade. And this studio has dreams of grandeur and a level unbelievable. If the right MMO promised all these things, people would actually believe it a bit more. There wouldn't be as much controversy. But because Intrepid Studios is a first-time company, people will constantly cast shade on until they deliver. So has Intrepid done a great job? Debatable. It's not a bad game by any means. It's not a great game though. Ashes is in that middle limbo of it going in either direction. And so Ashes of Creation is Schrodinger's MMO. It is both dead on arrival and the next best thing since bread at the exact same time until it fully launches. And until that launch, you are technically correct if you believe it's genius or a scam. Neither side wins out until the game comes out. For me, in my personal opinion, after I've described everything to you guys, the longer I watch, the longer I invest, and the longer I listen to Steven, the more I believe in his genius and his dreams and goals for Ashes of Creation. The man is a good salesman. He's made me believe in this cultural zeitgeist that this is going to define the MMORPG space for years to come. But only time will tell, because let's be honest, more MMOs have failed than they've succeeded trying to copy World of Warcraft. There is a graveyard of MMOs that have tried to take the throne from WoW and have failed. More than any other genre, I think MMOs have some of the largest amount of hyped games that have died and been forgotten. And I'm not gonna lie, up until about 4 or 5 months ago, I believed Ashes was a scam. And then since the alpha has come out and more information has come out and more things have come out for me to see, I believe now. That bastard Steven, he got me to believe. So here's hoping Ashes of Creation comes out. Because as a World of Warcraft player, someone that's been playing World of Warcraft for 19 years, or 18, and the timing is a bit rough at this point, who's been playing Warcraft as a genre for 24 years, I'm tired, man. I want a new MMO. I love WoW, but I want a new MMO to take hundreds, if not tens of thousands of hours of my time. I want to explore a brand new world. So Steven, please release an amazing game. I'm trusting you. I'm putting my trust, my time and energy into you. I'm giving you my money. Please, make Ashes what it needs to be. So thank you all for watching. Like and subscribe if you liked the video. If you disliked it, that's perfectly fine. Subscribe and dislike every single video I do. Be a dedicated hater. I've got much more Ashes videos coming out in the future. Thank you all. Ebonheart out. Peace.